Ever pondered on the origins of video games? Buckle up as we journey back in time to the 1950s. The inception of video games isn't as recent as you might think. The first seed was planted by a physicist named William Higginbotham in 1958. You heard that right, a physicist, not a programmer or a game designer, but a physicist. He created a simple game he named Tennis for Two, which, as you might guess, was a rudimentary tennis simulator. Now, you might be imagining a little pixelated game with two paddles and a ball bouncing between them, but hold on to your hats, because this was a time before pixels. Tennis for Two was displayed on an oscilloscope, a piece of equipment usually found in labs, not living rooms. The game was not commercialized, but it was a hit at the annual Visitors' Day at the Brookhaven National Laboratory where it was showcased. Fast forward to the 1960s, and we find the first commercially available video game, Computer Space. Released in 1961, it was designed by Nolan Bushnell and Ted Dabney, the dynamic duo who would later go on to found Atari. The game was inspired by Space War, a game developed by MIT students, and it was a coin-operated arcade game, a far cry from the home consoles we're familiar with today. Computer Space was a significant milestone in the history of video games. It marked the shift from video games being a novel experiment in the labs of scientists and students to a commercial product that people could actually buy and play in arcades. So, from the oscilloscope screen of Tennis for Two to the coin-operated console of Computer Space, we've witnessed the birth of video games. As we leave the swinging 60s behind, we're about to step into a golden era of gaming. Are you ready? Welcome to the 70s and 80s, the golden age of video games. It was a time of innovation, excitement, and a little bit of chaos. Let's dive right in. 1972 marked a significant milestone in the history of video games with the release of Pong. This simple table tennis game with its rhythmic boop-boop sound became an instant hit and made video games a popular form of entertainment. Pong was the spark that ignited the video game industry, and its success was a sign of the greatness that was yet to come. As the 70s progressed, the video game industry saw another breakthrough with the creation of home consoles. The Atari 2600, released in 1977, was one of the first successful home consoles, and it brought the arcade experience into living rooms across the world. With its wide array of game cartridges, Atari made video gaming a household hobby. Moving into the 80s, the golden age of video games continued to shine brightly. This was the era that gave us iconic games like Pac-Man and Donkey Kong. Pac-Man, with its simple yet addictive gameplay, became a cultural phenomenon, while Donkey Kong introduced us to a certain red-hatted plumber who would later become a gaming icon. But even golden ages have their dark times. In 1983, the video game industry faced a massive crash. The market was flooded with low-quality games, and consumer confidence plummeted. The video game industry was on the brink of collapse. Yet, like a phoenix rising from the ashes, the gaming industry rebounded. And at the forefront of this resurgence was a company named Nintendo. With its release of the Nintendo Entertainment System in the mid-80s, Nintendo breathed new life into the industry. With the rise of Nintendo in the mid-80s, the gaming industry was about to be revolutionized once again. Can you guess what's coming next? From the ashes of the video game crash, a new era of gaming was born. It was 1985 when the gaming industry came back to life, thanks to the release of the Nintendo Entertainment System. This wasn't just another console, it was a revolutionary leap that ushered in a new chapter for video games. The Nintendo Entertainment System was more than just a gaming console. It was a beacon of hope for a dying industry. But it wasn't just the console that made waves. The release of Super Mario Bros., the iconic platformer game starring the Italian plumber Mario, was a game changer. It captivated millions with its addictive gameplay, charming characters, and catchy music. It was a breath of fresh air in an industry that was suffocating under the weight of subpar games and oversaturation. As we moved into the 90s, the gaming landscape changed drastically with the console wars between Nintendo and Sega. Both giants of the industry battled for supremacy, pushing each other to innovate and improve. It was a time of intense rivalry, but it was also a time of rapid growth and evolution for video games. Then, in 1994, the gaming world was once again turned on its head with the release of the PlayStation. Produced by Sony, the PlayStation brought 3D graphics into the living room, changing the way we play games forever. This was a console that broke new ground, with its CD-ROM format allowing for more complex and engaging games, and its controller design setting the standard for future consoles. The late 20th century was a time of phenomenal growth and change in the world of video games. From the revival of the industry by Nintendo to the console wars and the birth of the PlayStation, this era set the stage for the video games we know and love today. As we move into the 21st century, video games are about to become even more immersive and visually stunning. Are you excited to see what's next? Welcome to the new millennium, where video games have evolved beyond our wildest dreams. As we crossed into the 21st century, the world of video games took a colossal leap forward, entering an era of connectivity and accessibility like never before. This period was marked by the rise of online gaming, a shift that transformed the gaming landscape. One of the most successful games to harness this new frontier was World of Warcraft. Released in 2004, it became a cultural phenomenon, bringing together millions of players from around the globe in a shared virtual universe. It was a game changer, demonstrating the potential of online gaming and setting the stage for countless multiplayer games to follow. In the mid-noughties, a new generation of consoles hit the market, each bringing their own unique contributions to the gaming world. Microsoft's Xbox 360, launched in 2005, brought high-definition gaming into living rooms worldwide. Sony's PlayStation 3, released a year later, was a powerhouse of processing capability and Blu-ray technology. And then there was Nintendo's Wii. Debuting in 2006, the Wii revolutionized the way we interact with games, introducing motion control and making gaming a more physical, interactive experience. But perhaps the most significant development of this era came not from a traditional gaming company, but from a tech giant. In 2007, Apple released the iPhone, a device that would forever change the face of mobile gaming. With its touchscreen interface and the advent of the App Store, the iPhone opened up a world of gaming possibilities. It democratized gaming, making it accessible and appealing to a wider audience than ever before. As we look back on this era, it's clear that the boundaries of what video games could be were pushed and expanded. New technologies were embraced, new audiences were reached, and new genres were born. With technology constantly advancing, the future of gaming is a thrilling prospect. What wonders will the next decade bring? It's been quite the journey from tennis for two to the immersive games of today, hasn't it? We've traveled through over 6 decades of video game history, a journey that has taken us from the rudimentary blips and bleeps of the earliest games to today's intricate, immersive virtual worlds. Let's take a moment to reflect on where we've been and how far we've come. We started with the beginnings of video games, with pioneers like William Higginbotham and his Tennis for Two, a simple yet groundbreaking game that set the stage for what was to come. Then we moved on to the Golden Age, a time of rapid expansion and innovation, marked by iconic games like Pong and Space Invaders that became cultural touchstones. The revolution of gaming brought us into a new era with the rise of home consoles and the shift from arcades to living rooms. This period saw the birth of franchises that are still beloved today, like Super Mario Bros. And The Legend of Zelda, and the introduction of 3D graphics, forever changing the landscape of gaming. In the modern age of video games, we've seen an explosion of diversity and creativity. Games have evolved into rich, interactive experiences that can tell complex stories, explore deep themes, and create vibrant, detailed worlds. The advent of online gaming has connected players around the globe, creating communities and friendships that extend beyond the screen. Video games have not just changed entertainment, they've impacted society and culture. They've become a medium for storytelling, a platform for social interaction, and a tool for education. They've influenced fashion, music, and art, and have even been recognized by prestigious institutions like the Museum of Modern Art. From humble beginnings to a multi-billion-dollar industry, video games have truly transformed entertainment. The journey we've taken today has shown us how much games have evolved, and it leaves us wondering, what will the future of gaming look like? Will we see virtual reality become the norm? Or perhaps games that can read and respond to our emotions? Who knows where we'll go next? Until then, game on.